Okay, so I just wanted to make a video showing how I did all the save load segments for the Half-Life Source 17 run, because I had to figure out how to do it all by myself, and I wrote a bunch of scripts. So just be warned that this is how I did it. It might not be the exact correct way or the best way, but this is how I did it. So just to start, I'm just gonna make a save that will work for the void clips. So I'm gonna go and save. I'm gonna do some void walking, and then if I load it, I have velocity here, but if I unpause, I lose all the velocity. So what I found is that instead of having to manually time the save after you load, you could do a bind like this: load quick, wait 28, save quick. That just automates it. So I'm just hitting B and nothing else, and it's just doing void clips. So all you need to do is find out the correct amount of weights that you need for your computer, and it'll work. I'm doing it at 30 FPS but right now, which is why there's some audio glitches, as you can see up here. So that's why I'm able to do 28 weights, and it works consistently. For me, 300 FPS is 22 weights. So that means that you can just automatically do it without having to do multiple keys at the same timing. So using this, I figured out a way to automate or just have one key for every void clip in the segmented run. So these are the normal segmenting binds I had, and so I wrote this long bind right here and this one here to do the void clipping. So what this one does is it, for example, load 700 dash, let's see, action storm 0, and then you'd record 701 dash 1, and then it would save 1 dash 1. And so if I save this and then executed segmented, and then I hit that key, it said you couldn't find 700, but it recorded this demo and did the save after trying to load it. And so I set it up here with these weights so that it's the same as that bind with B that automates the save load. So every time it will work, well, all the time. So the wait 10, you have to wait, because otherwise you can't start the recording at the correct time. This wait 18 is dependent on your computer. As I said, I have 28 waits for my automated void clip bind. So here you just subtract 28 by the first 10, and that's what you put here, because that's all that's coming between loading and saving. This just has to be put in so you can record it. And then the rest of this stuff is just time afterwards, like a normal segmented bind, like up here. So what this does is that you can automatically do it. The problem with it is that after you do this first one, you'd have to do 1, then change it to 2, save it, go back, have a key which automatically executes it, and then keep on loading it, and you have to do that consistently over and over again. I did that for the first few, and then it just got really tiresome, so I wrote a script which automates it. So this is the script which I wrote to automate it. It's written in Python, and it's kind of confusing, but it does the job, at least for me. There were some errors with it, but it saved a lot of time for me, because I did not want to have to change 3 values manually for like 300 saves in one segment. I think overall there's about 5,000, 6,000 save load files that I ended up with. So I definitely didn't want to do all those by hand. So what this basically does is you are able to run a Python script, which I can run right here. And when you run it, it asks you for a seg number. So I could say seg number 700, what did I say? It was 701. So then you do the starting save, for example, 700 action storm 0, which that was the one I was testing on, and then you hit enter, and it says press enter to increment or type exit to quit, or number to change it to. So what this does is if I go here and I hit the preset key binds, when I hit P, this bind, that's why I'm hitting, I guess you can't see it, it automatically does the void clip bind that I had showed you before. So then if I hit back, hit enter, it automatically increments it, hit the bind, hit one bind, and then hit the one that moves it, and I can just go back. And I can do this for all of them, however many I want to. And this keeps track of it, so you can see whatever you want to. What's also nice about this is that, for example, say I know I messed up on number 48, I go back to number 47. So what I did is I bind the dash key to be execute segmented 1. And what this does here, basically, the complicatedness, it takes what you said at the first part and writes a bind to segmented one. I can actually pull up segmented one real quick. So right now, my segmented one file, it looks like this. And so if I hit enter again, it will change it. You see, it's been modified. And so if I reload it, it basically just auto increments it. So that's all this does. It just auto increments it based on what you said in the first place and puts it in this file. So if I want to do it, then I hit the dash key to execute it, hit P, go back, enter, dash key, execute, and then you just keep on doing that for all of it. So the one that I wrote right here is 30 FPS. As you can see, 30 FPS void clip. I made some normal FPS ones, which are 300, 30 FPS, one tick. The reason I made them different is so that I could just say execute this or execute that instead of having to choose the amount of weights and adjust it. So the reason 30 FPS is because weight 18. What I found is that to get consistent one tick saves, you just add another weight or two. Here I had to add 2 for 30 FPS, but here I just had to add 1. You can see it right here. I just had to add 1 more for the 300 FPS. What this would do is it'd give you consistent, an extra tick on the time. And so that's useful if you want to stop your momentum while you're in the middle of void clipping, or you need to do 1 tick for some reason. And so I would just change it. And if I was in the middle of a save load chain, then I could just go back here, out of this, and I could go into 30 FPS 1 tick, and then I could do 701, and I could say I wanted to start it at number 5. I could do certain save 5, and then I could go here, and then go back in, and then that would be 1 tick until it exited it. So that's why I wrote this, because it helped me a lot. So that's what I did for this. There's one more thing I want to touch on for before I end this video. This bind right here. What this bind did is it looks really complicated. It's basically this one, but with a slight change into it. And the main thing that you can see is right here. What this did is it basically does, if you notice there's weight 18 and the weight 2 for a total of 20 more weights, so it's 1 tick. It basically adds, it's a 1 tick void clip save, but with a duck in it. So if I did this, it would do a 1 tick save and I'd be ducking. So this is helpful for like transferring if you want to stop all your velocity and then go straight down, ducking, because it's faster than standing up. If you just did a normal 1 tick one, you'd be standing up while out of bounds. But if you duck, then you go down. And so what this would do is it would just duck right in that tiny little sliver of time, and then you'd save. So the reason I have to have pause 0 here is because if it's paused, you can't do it even while it's loading. So you have to have it unpaused, and then you can turn it back on at the end. This like bind didn't exactly work the best for me all of the time, but it was very helpful, and I could change this to like attack too if I wanted to start charging the Goth gun, for example, for a GOT boost or something. So it was very helpful for me. And then here are just my 30 FPS and 300 FPS void clip binds. The reason it's keypad is because I have a lot of buttons on the side of my mouse, and that's just what they're assigned to. So those are all the ways I did void clipping for the run. I did so much void clipping, and it was so helpful having this auto incrementer because it saves so much time. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask me in the comments. I just wanted to put this out here so it might help anybody. Thanks.